The Herring Hallway by Kenneth Hanson. Please find The Herring Hallway and other flash fiction stories in my ebook, Feats of Flash Fiction, August 2025, by Kenneth Hanson, at my PayHip store as well. The Herring Hallway. Upon waking at Bedlam Manor House, I lit a candle and had a smoke. On rainy mornings, I prefer to write in my pocket notebook for hours at a time. This morning brought no exception. The rain was pelting the window panes, and I had looked up at one point and felt as though I had slipped into a type of profound dream. It was some moments later then, whereupon a curious knock ran across my door. I shook my head in hopes of dispelling some eerie thoughts, and then proceeded to unlock the door. Mr. and Mrs. Bedlam were wide-eyed and brimming with affection. They had told me prior about a set of paintings in the manor hallway which I had yet to explore. One particular painting in the set was beautifully odd, as they had put it. They had suggested that I admire them at my closest convenience and after a hearty breakfast. It was after a long talk with Mrs. Bedlam concerning the manor garden and general estate that Mr. Bedlam had taken it upon himself to walk with me up the winding stone staircase and into a room he had once used strictly for study. Numerous books lined the shelves, and he suggested I pick out a book of my choosing. One book stood out and drew me in. The title of the book was The Herring Hallway. Mr. Bedlam became engrossed in another book then. I began to read, and it was some hours later when Mr. Bedlam had told me that he would be back momentarily and that there were, as he put it, pressing matters which required his attention. An hour had passed, and I had been completely ensnared by the book. It was then that I realized I was not in the room that Mr. Bedlam and I had originally entered, and I felt as though I had been blindfolded then. I took steps and found myself walking down what I thought to be a narrow corridor. I began groping in the air, and my arms were flailing around as I brushed against coarse stone walls. I dropped the book on the ground at one point, deciding then to keep moving in what I thought to be a forward direction. I had all but lost my composure when the lights had turned to curious mauve mist. Mr. and Mrs. Bedlam were seemingly standing there in front of me. As the light steadily brightened, I became obsessed with a set of paintings, and one in particular which frightens me to this day. It was a life-size painting of Mr. and Mrs. Bedlam which I had observed. In their hands they proudly held up a copy of The Herring Hallway. I had then realized that I did not recall the author at all and cursed my poor memory. But in that painting, the author's name sat boldly underneath the title they raised, and there I stood shivering while my stomach ached. It was then that I gasped again in shock as I read and reread the author name, the name which was clearly my own.